Hi, this is Mrs. Criswell with Lineage Society Genealogy, and I'm going to be talking about birth and death certificates. Specifically, when you request a birth or death certificate from the state or county, the main question that you have to ask is, do I need certified or informational copies, and why? So by the end of this video, you will know the answer and the why, which is of paramount importance. So let's get started. Certified versus informational copies. Just real quickly, what's the main difference? So the word certified, some states will say authorized, some will say official, but it will be a synonym of certified. So certified copies of vital records being birth and death certificates. The certified copies are the ones you need to establish identity. So think Social Security, passport, driver's license, things of that nature. And the state determines who can request and receive an authorized copy or a certified copy. And usually this is either yourself, a family member, power of attorney, perhaps an agent from a funeral home, somebody who needs to establish identity either for themselves or for somebody who they're acting for. The main visual difference is going to be that the state seal will be placed on this copy. And that's how you can determine visually between the certified copy and the informational copy. So the informational copy, believe it or not, it's going to contain the same information as an authorized copy. Sometimes information is redacted, but for the most part, you're going to be getting the same information. So the birth date, death date, name, so on and so forth. It doesn't require you to get a notary signature before you send in your form. And this can be helpful just logistically because oftentimes you are requesting multiple copies from multiple places, and not having to go out and get a notary signature really does help the process. Again, visually, you may see a phrase like the below. Informational, not a valid document to establish identity. So informational copies wouldn't work, for example, for the Social Security, any kind of official government business that you might be doing. Informational copies can sometimes be referred to as genealogy copies or for genealogy use. Sometimes you'll see that. So here visually, we're going to look at the difference between the certified copy and the informational copy. The copy to the left is the certified copy, and you can tell that because of the big seal in the upper right-hand corner. But other than that, notice there isn't a whole lot of difference. So really what you have is the government entity making a copy of the original certificate, placing it on their letterhead or watermarked paper, and then at the top, making some sort of a disclaimer. And we will take a closer look at this on the next page. But I just want to give you a sense for visually what the main differences are. So the disclaimer up at the top, this is the why part. Why? Which one do you need? Why is it important? So at the top, that is our unofficial or our informational copy, and then the bottom is our certified copy. Notice that the disclaimer is exactly the same. It says, when this copy carries the raised seal of the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services, it certifies the below to be a true copy of the original record, on file with the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services, Vital Records Office, which is the legal depository for vital records. It says the exact same thing on the certified copy as the non-certified copy. Now, genealogy in general uses informational copies. So I would go ahead and use informational copies and request informational copies. A Lineage Society will generally accept either one. So when you are filling out your application and you're sending in the copies, if you have certified copies already for whatever reason, go ahead and submit those. It really doesn't matter which one you use, but now we're getting to the why part. So why does it not matter? Because take a look at that certified copy at the bottom. That seal looks pretty official. And if it were me, I would think, well, it's much stronger of a document if the government says that this is a true copy of the original record. And wouldn't that carry more weight than just an informational copy where they make no such claim? And normally that would be right, but let's take a closer look. It says a true copy of the original record on file. So let's go back to our visual certified versus informational. What the government entity is actually saying is, Mrs. Criswell, we have taken the copy, the death certificate that we have on file, the original. We have made a true, unadulterated copy of it. We haven't changed anything. We haven't edited anything. We haven't left anything out. What you see on this paper is what we have. Now, it's easy to infer that the government entity is saying that the information in the death certificate is true and correct, but that's not actually what they're saying. And the government entity wasn't there when that certificate of death was originally filled out and filed. The attending physician was, the informant was, but those people are not alive today, and they're not in a position to say this information is true and correct. So since the government entity can't actually tell you that, it really doesn't matter whether they are swearing this to be a true copy of the original or not, because what's important here is whether or not this information is true and correct, which the government can't say one way or the other. So that's the why. So it's very critical to determine the why, because it gives us a much more objective view of these types of copies. So just real quickly, informational copies of vital records. That's generally what you want. It's easier to request from state and county offices. Again, you don't need a notary. And when you are requesting multiple copies from multiple places, trust me, this really does help logistically. It also contains the same information as a certified copy, so there isn't anything on the certified copy that you're getting that you wouldn't get on the informational copy. And then third, the most important part is the certified copy does not guarantee the information in the certificate is correct. This was a surprise to me when I learned this. However, if you really think about it, it is true. So in your Lineage Society application, if you have certified copies, go ahead and submit them. That's perfectly fine. But just know that that government seal really doesn't carry any weight. The informational copy is perfectly fine if you haven't yet requested them, and you will submit them the exact same way. So I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, please email me. And like this video, subscribe for more. And if I can be of any help or I can answer any questions, don't hesitate to email me. And thanks for watching.